debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Neil, Sensual Goat, Refracted Curvature, and a whole bunch of people in the Politics Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Welcome.
Indeed, welcome
Hello.
one and all. Now, I've given my little preamble while we were in the pre-show, after swearing and shouting at a Globe believer for being a numpty idiot, pretender clown. So you can enjoy that if you remember after the fact. But in the meantime, we're in the politics server, so we can spread the good word of Earth being measured flat. With that in mind, I do have a housekeeping question to ask. Is there any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
Negative.
The elevation angle requires a plane of reference. The plane of reference must be parallel with the surface of Earth.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be an angle.
Oh, that leaves us in good standing. That's pretty much it in terms of housekeeping question. I wanted to ask the one, because we were discussing the notion of Earth being measured flat, as I say, in the pre-show. In possibly the only discussion that will take place here today, based on what AJ told us just before we went live. There's not a number of Globe participants in the Politics Discord server today. Stark change from when we first joined about 12 months ago. We were being told that there's a force to be reckoned with, a Globe Force 6. Now they've retreated into obscurity, and we're here with absolutely zero participation from anybody who's not a pretender clown from the Globe side of this discussion, which is a bit of a pity. We have got a continuation video if it does go completely silent. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Why don't you ask the latest housekeeping question? I've been waiting for that one, because I think that one's really good.
Any evidence you can have pitch data on a globe?
I have Pure and Simple in the chat who would like your confirmation, Nathan, that you would like a debate. Pure and Simple, his name is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Hello. So just to get this straight, would you like to debate the shape of the Earth either alone or at most with 3 or 2 other flat earthers in the same VC? And I record this for YouTube.
I broadcast this for YouTube. We are live now to an audience already. What was your evidence for a globe? Feel free to offer it.
What, so we're doing this right now?
What's your evidence for a globe?
I can do it right now. I can moderate for you, but Pure and Simple, just be aware if there's any speaking over or anything like that, we'll be muting. But yeah, go right ahead. Present your evidence, please.
Got it. All done. Are you okay if I record as well, or is that a problem?
Yeah, it's a problem.
Well, in that case, I was hoping I could record it.
What you could do is you could actually go to Nathan Oakley 1980's YouTube channel, and you could then link it to your channel with the debate.
Either way.
You know what?
The logistics of what we're doing here, sir. You've just joined a random room and you want to record it. The answer's no. If you want to record rooms that you establish over a long period of time, and great, if you get the connections that I've got to be able to do this, then wonderful. The answer's no, second time. What's your evidence for a globe so we could have the debate you wanted? That we are definitely doing, to answer your first question, yes, we are doing this. It's the 4th time I've asked you for your evidence of a globe. And all we've done is discuss whether or not you'll get to record my show. No. What's your globe evidence? Fourth time.
I'm not saying to record your show. I'm asking.
Do you want
for
to remove
debate
this guy from
in a
this
prime
discussion?
VC.
Should we remove you? Do you need to be asked again
Yes,
for your
please.
fifth rendition of the question to start the debate going? Or did you want to continue to discuss whether or not you'll get to record my show on Broadcasting Live? Do I need to tell you a third time the answer's no? Or are you going to present some globe evidence, or are you going to be removed for not participating in the debate you suggested you want to have? If you want to have a debate, present
Why
some
so
bleeding.
aggressive?
Don't
Why
talk
so
through
aggressive?
me. Certainly don't offer some belligerent response in the middle of me talking. That'll get me calling you a wanker for talking straight through the middle of telling you off. Because I've had 6 attempts to get some globe evidence from you, sir. Doesn't seem like you want a debate in spite of you asking about the logistics of recording the debate you're not having. I'm broadcasting it live. Give us your globe evidence or sod off.
Why so aggressive?
Get rid of him. This guy's a dickhead. I'll offer some evidence for Earth being flat, because this dickhead didn't want to take the 7th opportunity. He wanted to discuss something else about the formatting and my attitude. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat, dickhead. Your globe belief that you were going to debate for would have been based on the measurements of a flat Earth to create the fantasy ball you thought you were living on and in 7 attempts didn't offer any evidence for. Meanwhile, we've charted, mapped, navigated, sailed upon, flown across, built upon Earth as a flat plane. It's a prerequisite for your globe belief. That's my evidence in this debate. Just to add one final point, it's not a debate, it's a fact. Earth's measured flat. That's what I've got to offer, son. You can check it out live on my channel. It's called Nathan Oakley 1980. If you want to see that which you didn't have the wherewithal to sort out before you got here, your recording and broadcasting that I am doing. Yeah? You can check out you not offering Jack in 7 attempts and me telling you Earth's measured flat. There's no debate here. Hope that's clear.
And before I unmute you, pure and simple, all we need you to do is present your evidence. We didn't know to speak about Nathan's
No,
attitude,
he's had that chance.
etc.
No, he doesn't have to present his evidence. I gave him 7 opportunities. Now he has to respond to what I've told him. That's Earth's measured flat. He can respond to that. I gave him 7 opportunities to offer globe evidence, and he talked about the recording he isn't doing.
Cool.
Fuck with me. I'm recording it right now.
So was that
Well,
your
then I'll
response
just
to
have
me
to pop
telling
you
you
on
that
mute.
Earth was flat, sir? Hello, pure, simple. You're in a debate with me. I've told you Earth's measured flat.
Server muted him, Nathan, because his response was that he's recording right now. So he's been asked not to record by yourself. So I figured at that point I was going to exclude him from the
Let me get it
conversation.
straight.
But if you want to continue.
In defiance and belligerence of me telling him no, he's going to literally take the money out of my pocket. I broadcast so I can feed my family, you stupid boy. You think when I tell you no, you're not going to take the money out of my mouth by broadcasting that which I have made a living, creating this environment to be in, broadcasting it. You've just decided you're going to record here, in spite of me telling you 3 times no. Oh, what a wanker. Wanker. You can watch yourself being called a wanker and a belligerent little twat on Nathan Oakley 1980, where this is live. Massive shout out to all of you in the live stream chat. Good to have you all. Thank you very much. Please share the show. Next.
Well, now, the information that you just gave out to him will not be heard in his recording. It will be a discussion on how upset you are instead of dealing with any of the statements you made.
Who cares? They got nothing.
You've got nothing but to
Well, I'm
piss me
sure
off
that
about
any
how I earn
audience
my living
members-
broadcasting this stuff. Building up relationships with the politics server so I can be here and get away with swearing and shouting at their guests. I'm so sorry. I have got toothache. I tried to justify it.
I'm pretty sure that the audience members can hear just what occurred, yeah, because I offered him a solution to his recording, which was to put a link out onto his page stating that I'm debating Nathan Oakley. Here is the link to the debate on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, yeah. But instead, we don't get any evidence and no rebuttals.
What a shame.
I think when
It's
I
not
think when you
about
took
the
him off
debate.
mute. Hold on, I think when you took him off mute, you caught him telling somebody that he was recording right now.
Yeah,
No, that was
it's
his
not about the
response
debate
when
for
we
them.
opened up the mic. That was his first response. Yeah. Well, I'm recording right now.
Yeah, pure belligerence. Yeah, you go to a rock concert, you watch Michael Jackson, and they go, no recording. You go, I'm recording anyway. Oh, well, that's one way to get you thrown out by a bouncer.
Well, the thing is, it's not about the debate for them. It's about the appearance that there is a debate, right? They need it to be controversial, the measurements. But then they'll turn around and use those measurements to try to prove a globe with it. It's ridiculous.
So for anybody on the
Nate, were you
globe
going to
side...
jump in? And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
I think Nate was jumping in before, unless you were just hot micing, Nate. But you have something to
Might
add?
be just hot micing. I have nothing to add.
Fair enough, we just hot micing.
Thank God.
Yes, you were just hot micing, Nate. Nate,
Yeah, what's up?
you just hot micing.
I was I muted my mic on my headset.
You're muting the server. Right, we might respond to a video as there's very little going on. After 12 months of being in politics. Go ahead.
We do have someone new in here. We have Art. Art, welcome to the channel. What brings you to the show tonight? 24/7 Discord and the Nathan Oakley Flat Earth debate. Hello, Art. New VX. I can't say it.
Art New Hoax, is it?
Hugh Hoax. We're going nowhere.
That's okay. I've planned for this eventuality, AJ. I do have a video that we were covering yesterday, and being as we've got a whole room full of people hearing us chit-chatting about a video that we're responding to will invariably generate a response from people who are sat on the sidelines, potentially wanting to put their two penny within. Or maybe not, we'll see. Ultimately, I have got a backup plan if we end up sitting in a lot of dead air, because there's a lot of fearful globe believers that don't necessarily want to get into the wrangle-dangle, and who could blame them?
Silence is deafening.
I'm kind of disappointed because I know that there is no debate, but like I was hoping the guy would at least yield and try to come up with some globe proof. What a disappointment.
Well, that was why I asked him, because I knew there was no rebuttal to what Nathan said, so I just wanted to try and get something from him.
What are you going to rebut? That we utilize the plane of reference to build upon, navigate? There's nothing to rebut.
I think we just totally threw him off when he said we could debate right now. I don't think he was ready for that.
No, his
he
only
was-
option was
he was offering
professional
it out in the
debating.
Wait, again, AJ? Sorry, Sensual. AJ then
Oh,
Sensual.
I was just reading the chat. He was offering in the chat, yeah. So I thought, oh, let's read it out and get him up here.
Yeah, it's like, you want to have a gun battle? Yeah, okay. You pull your gun out and they go, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to fill out forms. We need to go and we have dinner together. You're like, what? I've got my gun. You're asking for a gunfight, right?
Well, I kind of need you all to bring the gun. And could you fill out this form so that I can use your gun to have the gunfight with you.
I've got to set up my own cameras and lighting and special effects and blue screens. I was hoping to record this gunfight. Oh, really? Well, we're already doing all of those things. Where's your gun? Well, I need to also set up those things. We're already recording second times a charm. That's where we go with these idiot globe believers who have nothing at all to offer to alleviate the pain and offer some relief to the audience that might be watching on their side, the globe-believing numpties that might be tuning in. This is what you're going to give them. I thought I was going to get to record this. Random stream that I don't own and have no association with any of the owners and haven't built a relationship with. You thought you could record it, did you, dickhead? All right, well, that makes you very stupid, doesn't it? Maybe go and build a relationship with a different server and arrange a time to come in weekly like I've done. Then you won't get a no for an answer while somebody's already broadcasting live. What an idiot. That's the assumptive globe-believing dickhead entitled asshole for you. I can just record anyway and will. No, you'll get your ass kicked out by a bouncer. That's what you get in globe
got a
believers.
3-day ban.
That's what you get. That's what you get in globe believers. If you're watching, 56 people tuned in. Please share the show if you've not done so already. 58 people watching. Going up slowly. In case you are unaware, we're in politics today, if you're watching me live on YouTube. Fun will be had by all. There is a link to join if you want to join the politics server. We'll stick a link in the live stream chat and you can be one of the participants if you happen to be a globe believer and feel you can do better than the already in existence participants of this particular server. Then feel free to click the link that goes by on the live stream and join the politics server, which is a great server. You should all join anyway. It's great. They're very hospitable to me, even when I'm in a bad mood and swearing at people. Thank you again, by the way. Check it out if you're in my membership. Go and check it out in the pre-show. Again?
We have a troll that keeps popping in and spurging out. I'm hoping he'll stay, but he just comes in, says something stupid, and then leaves.
Well, fun. You got to do it. Kids say.
I run into the same problems with my 2-year-old.
Yeah, problem is, I think this is adults, yeah? Globers.
It makes you regress, doesn't it, to the point where you were first told the lie about being on a ball. Might be you remembering it being dangling above your crib for all I know, but you regress to that stage when you first got exposed to this nonsense and behave like that person at that age.
It's tied to the
modern ding dong ditch.
Well done, John.
The modern ding dong ditch.
Yeah. Again, Duncan. One more time. Sorry.
Sorry, just the modern ding dong ditch now. They just pop in and run away.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but what I was going to talk about was lighting poos on fire, and I thought it wouldn't be appropriate, but I'm glad you got there first with something more tame.
Well, to be fair, it is kind of intimidating to go up against you guys.
Well, were you here earlier while I was getting angry, Matthew? Is that what you were inferring?
No, I was saying it's intimidating.
Is that Mr. Learns?
I just want to establish if he's being sarcastic or not, because I don't know Matthew well enough to know his tone. Was that sarcastic, or are you being sincere?
No, I'm being sincere. It's like if you're in a room full of people with whom you disagree, it's a intimidating thing. So I understand, but that doesn't mean you have to do this ding dong ditch thing. So I agree.
Oh, now I understand what you mean. Yeah, rather than maybe taking the step into the unknown, which is terrifying. Ding dong ditch, as we're calling it, is softer way of maybe relieving the tension. Okay, fair enough.
It must be devastating though, because the guy earlier studied time dilation for 7 years, so he wasted 7 years of his life.
I don't think he did.
I want to.
He's just making that up.
I was going to ask Matthew a question about measurements. Are you there, Matthew?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
If I measure a 2x4, 12 inches long, does it make sense for me to calculate the spherical value of that 2x4?
No. Because 2x4s are generally rectangular or box shaped.
Okay, I'm done.
Morning, people.
Morning.
Stewie in yet?
Morning.
He doesn't typically arrive till after this show will be finished in politics, or right about the time we're finishing. Go ahead, whoever that was from Discord.
That was our ding dong ditcher again.
Yeah, he came back for 2 seconds.
Perfect timing.
But yeah, this topic does it's closely tied to the idea of object permanency. Like once you have it firmly established within your mind that it is a globe, that's a shape that you're not going to let go of. Not easily.
Object permanency, that's something, again, you'd be regressing to, because you learn object permanency at about like age 2 or 3, don't you? Or even earlier.
As demonstrated by the maturity level.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I'm a bit slow on the uptake. Yes, okay. Obviously now. Realise that connection. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But once you come to an understanding and the evidence is out there that it's measured flat, it always has been, you can't stay there declaring that you're on a ball. It makes no sense.
Not on. You could reasonably suggest that you're in a ball once you know it's measured flat. You can still describe heliocentrism like on screen now, right, from within the ball that you put in motion around the sun, described from the centre thereof. Well, you could, after the fact, reasonably justify that you think, no, I work from within the ball in the heliocentric paradigm. I'm like, okay, you know you're not in the ball though, right? At which point you've got the choice. You can either say yes, which is stupid, or no, which kind of recognises your own belief in the ball when you say no. But again, for me, I don't care about the person that has to do that. It's like, you can believe whatever the hell you like. If you want to tell me that your belief is based on the ball, when I know that it's not, it's, heliocentric from within the ball, which you aren't standing, then, you can either accept or deny that, can't you?
Mr. Learns, do you believe or do you know that Earth is spherical?
I would say both. I believe the Earth is spherical, and I would say I know it because I think it's a justified true belief. I know that's not everybody's definition of knowledge, but that goes back to the definition of what is belief versus what is knowledge. So I'm comfortable saying I believe it.
So it's true because it's a justified belief. Therefore, it's true.
I would say something more like an inference to the best explanation is a good argument. Like it's a good explanation for certain phenomena.
I'm really confused. Is that a no? Then you don't know it's true.
I don't know it's true to the same extent of knowledge that I think that you're meaning. So I would say I believe it.
Well, fair enough. Do you know it's flat?
No.
That's how it's measured.
Wow.
Yeah, there are some explanations that suggest that it's flat, and there are some explanations that I think are better explained
Not
by the
explanation.
heliocentric model.
No. Yeah, I was going to say, no explanations, measurements. Oh, hold on, just 1 second. I just want to shout out super chat. I'm sorry, got to pay the bills, Matthew. Just shout out to Charlie and Cat. Thank you for the super chat. If you declare with your mouth, quote, Jesus is Lord, end quote, and believe in your heart that God raised from the dead, you will be saved. Romans 10:9. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, Charlie and Cat. Really appreciate the support.
Raised
Amen. I
him
believe
from the
that too.
dead. You left out him.
My bad.
Yeah,
I'll put it up on screen.
you don't
Yeah, John.
I was gonna say you don't give explanations for measurement. That doesn't make sense.
Right. I would say that inference to the best explanation is an argument for the truth of the heliocentric model. It's not. I wouldn't call it a proof, obviously, because it's not deductive reasoning. It's more like abductive reasoning.
No, sure, we got that with your justified belief and all that, but we're on to a different subject now. And my question was, do you know it's flat?
No, I don't.
And there
You're
is no
unaware
model.
that it's measured flat.
I'm aware that it's measured flat, but I don't know that it's actually flat. That's the way I take it.
You're aware that
That's
it's
a
measured
contradiction.
flat, but unaware that it's flat in spite of it being measured flat. That makes no sense to me.
Right. Yeah, I think that the direct measurements of the curvature of the Earth don't exist, but the lack of those direct measurements, I don't think, are enough to say that it's therefore actually flat.
No, but I'm not referring to the. Just one sec, John. I'm not referring to the lack of measurements of a globe Earth. I'm referring to the actual measurements of the flat surface we dwell atop and measure, as opposed to explanations or lack of measurements on a globe. I'll just ask again, are you unaware that Earth is measured flat?
I am aware that the Earth is measured flat. You're talking about laser tests over long distances and that kind of thing, I assume.
I didn't mention anything specifically, whatever you like. I mean, in all examples that are useful, utilizable, Earth will be measured flat, and it always was. So I don't care what example you use, but if you're unaware of that, it sounds like you're aware of it. But then when I say, well, why would you justify your awareness of the measurements of Earth as a flat plane, but then say, but I know there's no globe measurements, but that doesn't mean it isn't a globe, as your explanation for why you wouldn't just know it's flat because it's measured that way?
Yeah, you're right. I am aware of the measurements, but I say that due to other reasons, like I mentioned before, I still don't buy it that it's actually flat. I think there's enough evidence that the heliocentric model is correct. Enough
Okay.
explanations.
So,
Which
like
aren't
with John's
measurements.
2x4, John, do you want to ask the question about the Earth with the same intonation as the 2x4 that you asked originally about?
Would it make sense for something that you consistently and constantly measure flat to calculate a radius for it?
No, that would not make sense generally with just that information, unless you have other reasons for thinking that there is radius.
If you're measuring it flat, what possible reason could you have to think other than what you've just measured is true? Why would you think anything else?
Other arguments, other reasons.
No. Just try and, in terms of the measurements specifically, though, once you've got a measurement of
Yeah,
something,
in terms of the measurement, no.
they're not good. A measurement's not good enough. You need to move to arguments after measurements. Why?
Right. Because just measurements by themselves don't always give you the complete picture, and so sometimes arguments can contradict those.
Okay. What arguments do you have to contradict the flat Earth measurements we have then?
Inference to the best explanation, like I mentioned before, I think that explanations for the phenomena are more successful, assuming the globe
No.
than assuming that the surface of Earth is not curved.
I didn't follow that.
Two
Hold on.
two
John's
days
got
ago,
just one sec.
Nathan.
Hold on one sec. What's your objection, John? You said no in the middle of him, which is a bit rude, but go ahead.
Sorry, you're trying to give explanations. Measurement, it's what exists. What are you talking about explanations for? We can get into explanations later, but it's what exists. What are you talking about explanations now? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just trying to answer Nathan's question. He said, hey, if the measurements show it's flat, then why on earth would you ever think that it's not flat? And my answer was because there are explanations and arguments for the heliocentric model. And so that's why. Maybe an analogy.
Stop giving him a model.
Stop interrupting him. Stop getting such a good...
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say an analogy might be something like... if I look and I don't see any radio waves, I might initially think, oh, I haven't measured any radio waves, but visually by looking at them. But I'm open to explanations that, oh, radio waves are invisible in the visible spectrum, and there's other arguments for the existence of Wi-Fi.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, if you say you can't see it, but then if you went to the extent of measuring that they were there, that would be moving on a step to confirm that which you didn't know was true until you took measurements of it, correct?
Right, that'd be a good way to put it, yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about Earth and we take measurements of it and it's flat,
Yes.
Yeah,
That would
that's what
work
I'm saying.
beyond the inference that you were taking that seems to contradict those measurements. So, to affirm radio waves, we take measurements, then we know, because we measured it. With Earth, we take measurements, then we know. No arguments, we've got the measurements then, right? Flat.
So I would say similarly, like if we take measurements and it seems to be flat, but then we have good arguments for the surface being spherical, then we might look to other kinds of measurements and see if we can figure out some way of determining if it is spherical. And I think there are some, like photographs from space, eyewitness testimony. You can do calculations like Eratosthenes with sticks and shadows to figure out the height and see if
That's
it all
flat too.
if it all kind of works. And I think it does.
Okay, so if we start with the last one you gave, Aristophanes, he's taking angular measurements off a flat plane also, though, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, so in order to suggest that we're not on a flat plane, we're going to go to Aristophanes' measurements of a flat plane. Correct?
Oh, I don't think Eratosthenes proves that the Earth is a globe because it's consistent.
That's not what I asked.
Also.
That's not what I asked. I said, based on what you've just told me, we measure Earth flat. You accept that. But there's arguments, okay, that we can go to suggest otherwise. And you gave off a list. One of them was Aristophanes. And I say, well, he's measuring Earth flat with elevation angles, sticks and shadows, that's elevation angles, off a flat plane. You say yes. There's a long pause. Then I summarise. So to disprove the measurements of Earth that's flat that you accept and understand, we're going to go to Aristophanes, also measuring Earth flat. Correct. Just need you to say yes. It's flat Earth measurements of angles that will debunk the flat Earth we're measuring. Correct. That's all I need.
Yeah, I guess I should have said Eratosthenes calculated the circumference. His actual measurements are consistent with, it being flat.
I see. So we take an Earth that's measured flat, and to debunk its flatness, we go to another flat Earth measurement that uses flat Earth measurements to calculate sphericity after flat Earth measurements, to debunk the flat Earth measurements we originally took by inference of the second flat Earth measurement that is then extrapolated out into a ball. That's kind of crap. We've got two flat Earth measurements so far, though, haven't we? Why wouldn't we just accept that Earth is flat based on the two measurements you've now given us of a flat Earth? Why would we move further than the measurements? I don't understand.
Because of the strong arguments given by the inference to the best explanation.
But what are they? Okay, we've dealt with the one. It was a flat Earth measurement. What else we got? Pictures from space. When did you take them?
Not pictures from space.
Well, you did list that.
Observations.
Well, that's okay. Observations from space. What observations from space have you made?
I haven't made any.
Nathan, may I tell you
no worries.
Very fast?
Maybe we're talking at cross purposes. I misunderstood what you meant in that regard. What are we talking about then? Where is this place, this space that you talk of?
Sorry, I wasn't talking about space. I was talking about the looking into space. For example, the constant size of the full moon that's visible for throughout most of the Earth throughout the night of a full moon. The explanation for why it's a constant angular size, the explanation of a globe, is more successful and better explanation than any other explanation that I know of.
But why, at this point, you've given me no justifiable reason to beg the question of a globe to use it as an explanation for something that isn't the ground. I mean, the moon's fascinating and beautiful. Does this have a practical application with respect to the ground?
Yes, just the idea that assumption leads to a good explanation, a better explanation than any other assumption. So that would lead one to say
You've just repeated yourself. I heard it the first time. I said you've given me no Just repeat myself because you've done it. That doesn't give me a justifiable reason to beg the question of a model that, according to you, has inferred sphericity based on flat Earth measurements. Aristophanes. So I'm not going to take a sphere that's created using flat Earth angle measurements to beg the question that a model of a sphere made with flat Earth angle measurements that you've given me would be a reason to beg the question and suggest that is a better way of describing the ground. Does this have a practical application with regard to the ground or not? What's the practical purpose of doing this?
Actually, you globetard, I will let you know
Can you
that
shut that man,
if you
please?
do
Shut
your
that man up.
research...
Shut that man up, please.
Hey.
What was the practical purpose of doing this exactly?
Yeah, I understand your question. I'm saying that begging the question and assuming the globe leads to a good explanation, and that in and of itself
I've twice, Matthew, twice. I've overcome this. Twice. Do I need to do it a third time? I'm interrupting justifiably because do you want to do it a fourth, fifth time? You've given me no justifiable reason to beg the question with you, sir. In fact, the justified reason you gave me was Aristophanes' calculations based on flat Earth measurements. I'm not going to assume the surface is curving based on these measurements of a flat surface. Okay? So no, I'm not going to just assume by way of pure fiat the begging the question fallacy you're employing with you giving me a fourth or a fifth time. So, notwithstanding that I'm not going to allow this begging the question of a model that better explains the flat ground we've measured twice as being curved, when that curve comes from an extrapolation of a flat Earth measurement you've given me in the form of Aristophanes. Is there anything else when this, and I've asked twice and I'm not getting an answer, is there a practical application to looking at the moon with regards to the surface? A practical application? Can I assume the answer is no?
Yes, the answer is no, because
okay, thank you. I'll just take it from here, Matthew. Thank you so much for this totally useless, non-practically applied example that begs the question of a sphere measured with flat Earth angles. Thank you. I'll take it from here. We do practically apply measurements of the moon, though, don't we? We can use it in navigation, can't we?
Yes.
With measuring a flat Earth being a prerequisite with this moon, correct?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think we can measure elevation angles to the moon?
I don't think we have to use elevation angles.
So you don't think we measure, because we do this in navigation, Matthew, your denial of it is irrelevant of what we factually do in navigation. So I'll just ask a third time. Do you deny the factually accurate statement of truth that we do measure elevation angles to the moon? Are you denying this fact, sir?
No, we do.
So we do measure elevation angles with respect to a flat plane to utilise the moon in a practical way then, sir? The answer is yes.
That's right.
Yes, we do, don't we? So that's 3 flat Earth measurements so far, and 0 globe measurements. I mean, we kind of tried, you, not me, to allude to a calculation being actually exposed as a flat Earth measurement by me. The one that knows Earth's measured flat. Like you do too, don't you? You just deny it based on inference that actually uses flat Earth measurements also, and then tells me that we should justify begging the question with no reason to do so. No, these models don't explain the angles that we measure. You can't get angles from curved surfaces. And we practically apply, beyond your non-practically applied use of deciding our models explain things that lights in the sky do, with no practical purpose of doing so. We can save our lives at sea by measuring a flat Earth with respect to these lights in the sky. That's something we can do and do and have done and always will do on a flat Earth. It's the only way it can be done. That's how it is done. You understand this. Earth is measured flat. These are facts. They're not debating points. This is indisputable. That's why Matthew has to accept it immediately. And that's the end of the discussion, though. It's nice that you have a globe belief, Matthew. Go in peace and worship at the altar of heliocentrism. We've detached ourselves from the faith that you've retained. It's not justified in any way. We measure Earth flat, even in your own example, sir. Next.
I would like to add in there that when you're describing your field of view and something's angular size, like the moon's angular size, you are ipso facto describing that angular size, those arc minutes, with respect to a Cartesian plane.
Well, while there's a break, welcome to the room, Reese the Hitter and Redder. Feel free to join the conversation. What brought you to the room?
Hello, I'm just here to listen and just get a different perspectives on whatever topics at hand.
Good to have you. Flat Earth room.
I like Matthew. You know, I think Matthew is one of the more intelligent people in this discussion. The amount that he's willing to just of what he knows to be true throw away to retain a belief is shocking.
I don't. You gave him a model 3 times. He said phenomena 3
Do you have
times.
to
What phenomena?
tarnish what we've... Don't question his motive. Who cares? That's his bag. Why do you care? I mean, great, you complimented him at first. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Good guy. Thank you for the discussion. I should have really thanked him already. Thank you so much, Matthew. That was great. But in terms of his motive,
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
care?
just trying to be honest.
Good for you. And I appreciate it, as do everybody else. But now they're questioning your bleeding motive. They want something to moan about you for, it seems. But there we go.
I didn't question his motive. I said the amount that he's willing to, amount of knowledge he's willing to throw away to retain a belief is shocking. That's all I said.
Fair enough.
I'm just covering myself from QE. He said model 3 times and he said phenomenon. And I want to know what phenomenon he's talking about. And they also want to know in chat.
There isn't one. It's a category error, but I didn't want to have him on that. Sorry to talk about you in the third person now. I blame my panel entirely. Anyway.
And I complimented Matthew because he deserved a compliment.
You also gave too much respect to Danny Faulkner.
You talking about?
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have done that because the conversation I had with him turned into Adam's conversation because he asked one question based on the line of questioning I'd led him up to on that point and stole the glory. So it's Adam's conversation now.
Most of the time, these people have earned a certain amount of respect. As much as PhDs get a hard line from QE, in my opinion, they have earned that title and respect that they deserve for it. You know, whatever extent you want to, in your own mind, think that respect is due is up to you. But me, it's like, well, I don't know. When you come across someone, you're like, "What's your name?" and they say, "I'm Dr. Jones." I'm like, oh, okay. Immediately, that does still have the same magic attached to it for me. I'm like, okay, that tells me something about that person. They've got a certain amount of commitment, a certain amount of dedication to actually do the work. You're like, okay, so that tells me instantly you're not some lazy sod. Good. That takes them up 2 or 3 notches in my book that should get them a bit of respect. Now, I get QE doesn't want to give anyone any quarter for anything, ever. I don't necessarily have that view, but to each their own. But when you're like, you give them too much respect, the respect that people do get and command instantly, based on who they are or sometimes their title, that's a societal thing that I don't mind adhering to.
I never said that. I said you gave him too much respect. And the other thing,
he's talking about me.
What's a PhD in astrophysics? What's that?
It's someone who's
all helpless and desperate.
Minimum.
Go on, John.
It's someone who spent 8 years of their life minimum studying the movement of stars.
Right. So it demonstrates dedication, if nothing else. Again, you don't have to extend the respect in the subject matter that you're going to debate them on. But there's a certain amount of respect that that person could and should demand. Don't get me wrong, people often go above and beyond their own justifiable respect that they can command. Often we see it, in fact. But that's not the point either. Anyway, I don't know why we're discussing this. Neil saying, you get too much respect. No, not necessarily. I give people the amount of respect I think they deserve.
You gave him basically 5 minutes to give you an answer. I might be exaggerating, but that was very, very, very long. Ask the guy a question, and he takes so much time to answer. Come on, that's too much respect.
Do you know why, Neil? Neil, do you know why?
Well, that's why then I feel Discord in on who this is because they don't know who you're talking about.
Is it cognitive dissonance?
No, Danny Faulkner was giving measured answers because he knew the topic and he knew that there was pitfalls within his suppositions and beliefs. And he was trying his best to avoid them.
And when all comes to hell, just go to lunch, right? I got to go to lunch.
Well, he took 45 minutes. He bled the clock out, didn't he? So he ran the clock down. For the audience and Discord's benefit, right? When Danny Faulkner last came, he engaged with John, and it was about half an hour. Maybe it was less. I don't know. I can't remember. But let's say it's half an hour. And that ended up getting edited down to about 10 minutes because the gaps in between the question and answer were huge. Now, I was more than willing to allow that to happen. If that's how things roll, then that's how things roll. But apparently that's, according to Neil, extending too much respect by allowing a very measured opponent to give a measured response. Like, that's not necessarily to be viewed as dead air. That's the silence as the opponent ponders the question and then delivers his response. If that takes, sometimes it was 20 seconds, sometimes it was 60 seconds of dead air. Well, that's how long it took. So what?
Yeah, I've told you before, sometimes the silence is the answer that you want.
In that case, that's not the case, though. His baseline was to be very measured and take his time with his answers. So it wasn't the case that it was suddenly out of character with a long, protracted silence. That wasn't the case. He was just like that. And I don't blame him. Again, while you're critiquing people in the respect they deserve, that sent him up one notch, in my view, Neil. 2 reasons why, statistically, he was smart to run the clock down. You get a tick from me for that, Danny. Smart man. Number 2, really thinking about what you say to us. Very, very smart indeed. Again, he goes up a notch. No, you might be shocked. You telling me that earned him more respect? Yeah, Neil, it did. Shocking, isn't it? How these things work.
Yeah, but I had him cornered by the time Adam walked in. Adam just put him in checkmate. It's like playing somebody down in chess, right? And you run the gambit with them. You're one move away from checkmate, and some dude out of the corner just walks up and moves the last piece, and it's like,
No, because Adam came in. He did not know it was Danny Faulkner and treated him like a regular, everyday person and nailed his ass to the wall.
Not an everyday person. He's got something to lose.
Based on what?
Let's just correct Neil on that one point. He's got something to lose. Coming here for no good reason and delivering a measured response. Maybe he's going to get another book out of it or something. I don't know. But from my perspective, he's just got everything to lose reputationally by engaging with us, hasn't he? So you go, at the end of it, you have to go, fair play to you. Doesn't matter it took 2 minutes for a response in one instance. Who cares? Good. You should be, because you've got something to lose, mate. Take your time. I'm glad you're engaged with us in that regard. So, yeah, it for the first time demonstrates that there are stakes here. That's the point.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Can I say something?
Yeah, hold on, Chocolate. We got a new participant. I'm so Chocolate. You've got timing's terrible. Shah, go ahead. Hello.
So I'm what you call a globe-tard. But I was wondering if you can give me some. I don't know. I was wondering, were you always a flat earther, or did you once believe the Earth was a globe?
No, I came out of the vagina, smacked on the ass, and said Earth's flat. First thing I said.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Besides the show, so you're always a flat earther, right?
Obviously not. We were all raised in the Western world society that believes the Earth is a sphere, based on what we're taught, shown in books, taught at school, etc., etc.
This is the point I want to get to. So, like, can you remember, like, the defining evidence that was brought to you that made you say, okay, now the Earth is flat?
Yes, I
Can you tell me what that was?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what is that? What was the evidence that convinced you that the Earth was flat?
It was the measurements of Earth and them being flat.
I mean, that's kind of circular reasoning.
Can you expand on how me explaining that Earth being measured flat was my turning point? How my justification for my turning point being that Earth is measured flat, how that could in any way be begging the question, aka circular reasoning. Can you just explain how that's circular reasoning to me, please?
Well, you're just saying that it was measured flat, so it's flat. I mean, I was expecting something more nuanced, not just like, oh yeah, it was measured flat. I mean, because last time I checked, it was actually measured round.
I see. Have you ever heard of a logical consistency called modus ponens? Is that familiar term to you, sir? Are you familiar with logic? Logical
No,
consistency?
can you please educate me on that one? I am unfamiliar.
I see. So, just as you've claimed it, the begging the question fallacy, how does that work in its logical form?
Wait, circular reasoning?
Yeah, what is it?
Wait, you want me to tell you how that works?
You've accused me of it, so yeah, it'd be good if you could.
A question. So it's basically a question that basically always goes on in infinite. So let's just say why is this video game rated 18 plus? Oh, because it's 18 plus. But why is it 18 plus? And then it's just going on forever. That's basically what circular reasoning would be.
No,
but that's not the response I gave you.
That's incorrect.
Anyway,
it's also incorrect.
Okay, so what is circular reasoning?
You've accused me of it. So just if you could shut up while I answer you. You've accused me of it, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
But do you want to just take that shit back because you're wrong and you don't know what these words mean that you've used against me to claim I've used a fallacy when I haven't? I haven't used the fallacy you've accused me of. Not only have I not used the fallacy you've accused me of, you don't even know what that fallacy is. So given that you don't know, is it just me or is this guy talking straight through the middle of me telling him off? Is it just me or is he now talking while I'm talking? I listened to his stupid barking mad shit that made no sense and then put an answer to his stupid shit that he asked me about whether or not I've always been a flat earther, absurd question that he had the inclination to ask me. Then we get down to this nitty gritty. And what have we got? Him barking through me after accusing me of using a fallacy that he didn't even know the bleeding meaning of. What an idiot. Idiot. Don't accuse me of a fallacy if you don't even know what it means. Circular reasoning, you couldn't even define this fallacy, you stupid bonehead. So just to conclude what we've done here, I've told off a stupid man for his incorrect accusation of use of fallacy, in this case circular reasoning, which I did not use. Not only did I not use it, this stupid man didn't even know what that meant. So now we've squared that away, sir. That would be your stupidity, an incorrect accusation of fallacy use. Now we've squared that away. Do you want to actually address what I put to you in the first place? That'd be my justified reason for saying I'm a flat earther. That's because it's measured flat. It's not circular reasoning, you stupid idiot. It's just how it's measured. Do you hear me? You may respond, you stupid dunce.
Okay, wait, you said I can respond?
When I said you may respond, that was my indication that you may respond, asking me a friggin' rhetorical question by repeating that which I've stated. Yes, you stupid dunce that needs to repeat that which I've given you permission to do while you chatter through me, reaffirming that which you've asked. Your question weren't rhetorical. Is that my chance to respond? Yeah, me saying you may respond, dunce, is your chance to respond. Now we've cleared that up for a second time with him yammering through his non-rhetorical need for affirmation that me telling him he can respond doesn't need him yammering, and it is indeed his chance to respond. I've cleared it up for a second time, dunce. Yes, third time, dunce. Once I'm done talking will be the time for you to start talking again, and hopefully not seek an affirmation that I'm telling you can respond. Okay, dunce?
Yes, sir. Okay. I'm just gonna respond with like this video clip I heard you do once. Why did you smack your child?
I know what you're saying.
Wow.
I didn't hear what he's saying.
He's talking about that video they made of you hitting your kid, supposedly.
Kick him out.
Let me get this straight. This kid's just accused me of child abuse. This arsehole. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
So, for the audience's benefit, when you lose, you accuse me of being a child abuser. That's how you roll when you're a globe believer. Yeah? Not only will you fall shy of accusing me of use of fallacy, when that absolute horse shit is ripped to shreds, you'll accuse me of hitting my kids. I see.
He certainly called it correct when he called himself a globetrotter. That was pathetic, but what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, go and join the server that Brenda's in. Yeah? Debate trans rights and globe rights with Brenda in some dickhead server where you can claim I'm a child abuser. Now, I homeschool my kids. I love them dearly.
Sacked. I send mine to public school. I don't like them that much. But anyway,
no, just home. That was a bad connection. Yes, fair play, John. Good point. Just homeschooling doesn't mean I love them any more or less than anybody else, and that's not a justifiable reason to suggest I do love them. I'll just say it on its own, in isolation. I love my kids dearly. I do not beat them. I have never hit them. There you go.
If anybody's seen you interact with your kids, they are definitely not afraid of you, Nathan.
What do you say? They're not afraid of me.
What? Why are we talking about this non sequitur? The dude the guy just came on here and said that measurements are begging the question, Neil. He just told Nathan.
They definitely fear me. They know I can punish them, Neil. I'm not suggesting that their primary sense about me is fear, but I'm just saying if I go, you will not do that or you'll be in timeout, they know to do what I'm telling them, and that you could call that fear.
No,
not just love and cuddles. They're naughty. They have to be disciplined.
If somebody's hitting their kids, you could see it. The kids are afraid of them in a different way.
Oh, okay.
You don't have command of them, of course.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, they're not scared of me because I'm going to do horrible things to you, which is what these arseholes come and imply.
Oh, mine totally are. But let's move on because that's kind of why would you ever say measurement is begging the question?
It isn't.
Anybody that's ever took a measurement, did they beg the question?
No. If I give a measurement to my foreman, he's not going to turn around and say, "Did you just beg the question?"
Hey, Neil, how much size is that 2x4?
Have you considered the arguments against the measurement?
Don't be mean. Yeah, it is akin to Neil, being asked by his foreman, go and measure that piece of wood. And he comes back and he goes, it's 30 inches long. And he looks Neil in the eye and says, that's kind of circular reasoning, isn't it?
But that's exactly what Matthew Learns did. It's pathetic.
No. Not Matthew Learns. The last guy did that, not Matthew Learns.
No, Matthew Learns did do that.
Rent free, Matthew, rent free. Telling you.
Yeah, I don't like picking on Matthew because Matthew's, I don't know, something about him I like. He seems like a guy that he's.
I don't mind. I can take it.
He's trying to compliment you.
Well, Matthew's not a jerk, right? He doesn't do personal attacks.
Yeah, that's unkind and not very righteous.
Well, I've got nothing to say here. I've indulged in enough personal attacks, so I've got nothing to say. If your slate's clean, good for you.
If you want personal attacks and to be abused, you got to speak to Peter the Glober.
Rob Noxious. Rob Noxious is like if Matthew Learns turned evil. Because I like Rob Noxious too.
I will say that I have had some pretty funny moments listening to Rob Noxious, and he can be quite funny.
Yeah, but then he flips out out of nowhere, and just like when his back is against the wall, then the real Rob Noxious comes out.
Or you could phrase it, the mask slips.
Yeah, that's even better.
Or you could say that he regresses to, childish behaviors.
You could say that.
Yeah, and he also accused, I don't want to bring it up again, but you know what I'm talking about. He said it a few times.
Timmy, when he said that about me being the best character on the show, the dumb hillbilly, that was pretty good.
I sell propane and propane accessories. Right. With that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Politics Discord server for allowing us to be here on a Friday, as ever. Really, really appreciate their moderation team for putting up with me getting all narky with their guests. But of course, a massive thank you to my cheapest panel as well for making today's live show possible. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.